right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Live Wire Sports Media. This is your Cool Down Thursday edition. So, I had a video that I was supposed to do this morning, but I decided to postpone it to later today. Um, because I had other stuff, other videos to put out. So, but I came across this clip this morning, early this morning on X, with Bill Simmons, who used to work for ESPN, and now he has his own thing, I believe, The Ringer, and he interviewed WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. Now, we already know Cathy Engelbert when it comes to doing things the right way, when it comes to the WNBA and with Caitlyn Clark. She can't. She can't. She sidesteps a lot. She doesn't tackle the hard questions. She doesn't put her feet to the fire. She doesn't really. She's scared to ruffle feathers. As a GM, well, a commissioner of a league, you got to be able to take a stand, whether players agree with you or not. That's just how it is. And sometimes you can't be just feel like, oh well, I got to go this way just to appease certain people. No, it doesn't work that way. But in a particular clip, Bill, they talked about new feature caller and talked about her losing in the finals and said that she should have got some calls. Cathy pretty much sidestepped that. And we already know how that went with Caitlyn Clark in her rookie season, not getting calls. She had got some texts in the game. And then we see in preseason the same thing. She's not getting calls. And that's an issue that I kept talking about a lot, that Cathy has to figure out, well, how she could pose, the referees to do their job. Now, again, and then when it comes down to the promotion of the league, when you know your most star player is the star of the league, the most electrifying person there is, and there was talk about how you have to balance it out. There really ain't no balance. And I'm gonna tell you why after this clip.
But then you've also stumbled into this phenomenon in Caitlyn that's like a once a decade thing. Like the last time it really happened in sports was probably Steph Curry in 2014, right? When the Warriors thing really started taking off and you could just feel the energy shift. I remember going to a Warriors game the year before the 73 win season and just getting there early because I wanted to see media people, and people were in the arena just in case he was still going to be there for warm-ups. And I was like, this is like different. This has not happened for a while. You have this now with Caitlyn. So how do you balance pushing her versus like making sure, like Asia Wilson, her shoe just sold out in 5 minutes. So it's not like some of the other players aren't doing well, but how do you balance making sure you're not just too focused on her, but you also don't want to not focus on her not enough? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it is a balance, but she's a generational talent. No league's ever about one player, but in this case, Caitlyn brought tens of millions of new viewers into the W, and there's no denying that impact. Not just in the WNBA, but the world of sports. Adam and I talk all the time about, like, she's the most popular athlete in America. She went to an LPGA tournament for a pro-am on a Wednesday, and it's like throngs of people were out there to watch her. And, I was at the Masters last year when she was in the Final Four, and, I counted like 19 Caitlyn Clark shirts of people walking around the Masters. So
it's crazy. I said on a pod, I think she's the most popular under 30 team sport athlete we have.
Yeah.
Now that Mahomes is 30, I think anyone under 30, I think she has anyone in any sport at this point, just from a recognizability.
Just turned 23. So she is hugely popular. But again, you do want to balance it because obviously you saw what happened with Juju Watkins, getting hurt. You want to balance making sure that you're also promoting your other stars like an Asia Wilson, like a Brianna Stewart. Nafisa Collier killed it last year. I mean, she was the runner-up MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year.
I loved her. I thought she was awesome.
Yeah, and she's a great person.
She could have gotten a couple calls in the finals. I thought she could have gotten some superstar calls. I was upset about that.
She's a mom and a role model for so many. So, so I think, again, that's why this year sustain the momentum we had last year and gain even new new viewers, because if you look at, I mean, we were up triple digits in every category, in every demographic, and young people, old people, young girls and boys were having watch parties and watching our games. So it was incredible. So,
But Kathy, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that is? Why are you having the watch parties? Why are you having all this attendance? Why are you having all these eyes on there? We already know the question, but do you know the question? The fact of the matter is that you had Aja Wilson going into year 8 right now. Old Diana Taurasi that just retired. Nafisha Collier, I think she's starting to come into her own. She's been in the league, but she's starting to come into her own. You had a Breonna Stewart been in the league for a long time as well, going on to what, her 9th, 10th year soon. You know, and Yana had no trajectory at all about where this league was going until Caitlyn Clark came into the league, and you didn't know how to handle it. Now you're talking about balance. There isn't no balance. There was no balance when Michael Jordan came in the league. There was no balance when Kobe Bryant came in the league. There was no balance when Tiger Woods hit the golf course. There was no balance when Serena and her sister hit the tennis court. There was no balance when Wayne Gretzky was dominating hockey. So, what you talk about balance? The only time we've seen kind of like balance is baseball with, the home run chase race with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, but that's about it. There wasn't none balance when it was Barry Bonds breaking Hank Aaron's record. There was no balance. Everybody could get talked about. Everybody could get talked about, but at the end of the day, we already know the one person that the league needs to be driven behind. And then she wants to use Juju Watkins as an example, which that's dumb because even though Juju Watkins got out, you had Paige leaving. You got Hannah Hidalgo, you got Laura Betts, you got all these other athletes that's in college. But yeah, y'all put it behind Juju at the same time. Y'all forced it on her. You don't have to force anything when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Caitlyn Clark is her own being, her own entity. She has her own movement. You don't have to force nothing. See that's the difference. You try to force it with Juju. You're trying to force it with Aja Wilson. And even she did sell out her shoes. She still don't have the push. But she's out here crying racism. But she ain't marketable. But Nike has done everything flipped over backwards for her. But she's greedy and evil. But see, with Caitlin Clark, you don't have to do that. Because her movement is her movement. You see, she leaves, that goes away, Kathy. You know, but you're not doing a good job as promoting her like you should. You know what I'm saying? If you want balance, promote her as the lead and have everybody else follow her lead. Because even when Michael Jordan got hurt in his early years, he still was being marketed. So if Caitlin Clark, say she missed a game or two this year, and she's still on the sideline, still, still on the sideline, guess what? People gonna come and still see her anyway. See, Kathy is so scared. She is so scared of the others that she don't want to ruffle feathers. See, if this was Roger Goodell and he ran this league, I say it many times. Y'all hear me say it many times. Look what the NFL is doing right now. Look what the NFL is doing right now. The hottest quarterback that came out of college last year, Jaden Daniels, my team, the Washington Commanders, he has the number one jersey sale across all sports. Across all sports. And then that team is playing in Madrid, Spain against the Miami Dolphins this year. They had what? Six prime time games, really 8 primetime games. The league understands where it's going, and you have to market your people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you can have one superstar, but at the same time, you can promote others. Like when they made the schedule and they gave the Fever 41 out of 44, and they then gave New York about 30 something games, and then gave the Lynx 30 something games. That's the balance right there. But you put the hottest team in front. That's all you got to do. It's not rocket scientists, Kath. It's not. And then when you talked about the referees, when Bill was talking about the referees, you went straight to talking about, well, she's a great mom and all of this stuff. You don't even want to touch that issue. And this is why people don't have faith in you as a commissioner, because you deal with it. But you talk about how Caitlyn, and then you say Caitlyn is the most popular athlete in sports. Well, we know that. We know you know that, but you're afraid of it. Instead of embrace it and say, hey, we need to make this league better. But you'll see again this year with her popularity, and if the Fever goes on to make the playoff, go to the finals and win the championship, then you're gonna sit back and say, dang, I wish I did that. We already see how Nike continues to fumble Caitlyn Clark. Her own league continues to fumble her. The Olympics fumble her. How many fumbles that you gonna get before you eventually quit turning the ball over and win the game? Because right now, Cathy, you're losing the game. You're losing the game. Like, comment, subscribe. This your Cool Down Thursday. Live Watch Sports Media. You know what it is. And if you don't know, you know.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing. Live wire. It's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it. So official, like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire. Sports and entertainment. Let's go.